going on, everyone? Hit pause here with a tutorial for Substance Painter, and what we're going to be painting today is this object here. It is a vise. It's a pano vise. I actually have a reference of it here. As you can see, this is what I've been tasked to create, and this is a brand new one, so we're gonna dirty it up just a little bit, but we're going to try to keep it more realistic. This is not going to be like a post-apocalyptic version or anything like that. It's just going to have a fair share of wear and tear on it. So we got a couple materials that we're going to be dealing with here. We've got this, like, I don't know, anodized steel or whatever the piss you want to call that, like rims, you know, car wheels. We got our chrome. We have a screw. That's going to be a bit of a challenge. I may need to do something there for the unwrap that I haven't done yet. We got some rubber. We got some very shiny rubber. Got some hard metal plastic, and we got some very dull rubber. That's going to have some wear and tear. So that's what we're going to begin with. I have already exported the model, and I've already opened up Substance Painter here. Just a note, I can't get the Substance Painter screen to go any smaller, so there is a bunch of stuff here that you can see. So these tools up here, I'm going to be using the number keys for most of these. I'm not going to use any of this anyway, so pretty much everything up here I'm not going to use after a certain point, so I'll move it back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit File, New. We're going to go to Select, go to Recent Places, Pano Vise. We're going to grab that guy. We're going to work at 2048. We want this to look nice. We don't have any images whatsoever. No normal map baking, no nothing. I'm not doing any of that shit on this project because it's not really needed. So here we have our model, and we should see that we have 3 texture sets, material 1, 2, and 3. You can hide them off and on and whatnot there. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and bake out some textures. However, we're going to use a few new features that are new to this. Now again, I apologize, I have a very small window here, so I'm going to try to keep this semi-manageable, but I don't want to lose any of my abilities to mess with stuff over here and over here too. I should be able to pull that about there. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go for each material. I want to actually add the ambient occlusion channel, because that way it'll export me out the map automatically and clean, and I can mess with it if I really want to. Okay, and now we also want to bake the textures, so I'm just going to mouse wheel here to go to bake textures, and I want these at full size. I don't need ID or thickness. Okay, thickness is for more like subsurface scattering. Position, curvature, ambient occlusion, world space, and regular normals. We need all those. I'm not going to worry about any anti-aliasing or anything like that. I'm just going to hit bake. It is going to take a second, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay, it is completed, and one of the things that it has done is automatically filled in our base ambient occlusion. And the cool thing is you'll notice that I told it to add that channel earlier than when I actually had the maps, and I don't have any maps for materials 2 and 3. So if we actually take a look here, if I turn this off and on, you can see the ambient occlusion working on just the base, but nothing up here is happening when I turn that off and on. Okay, so it's cool because it, like, if I had already baked them, it would have moved it over as well. So the program's smart. So we're going to hit bake textures here again, and I'm just going to bake the next 2, and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, they're all done, and as you can see now, I have the ambient occlusion on the base, I have the ambient occlusion on the mid piece, and I have the ambient occlusion on the small bits, which is going to be very hard to determine that, but if you look right in this little hole right here, right around here, you can see that turning off and on there. Okay, so those are materials ready to go. Alright, let's get that first material down that we want to use. So I'm going to get rid of this layer that they add. They add a blank layer. I actually want to add a fill layer instead. Now that we're going into painting, I'm going to go ahead and shift everything up so I can see a little bit more. About there, I think. Okay, so what we want to do is let's pull this to the side so we get a little bit more. In fact, I'll just pull this up just a little bit so I can see. And what I'm going to type here is MET for metals. And let's just take a look at some of these metals and kind of get a gauge for what we're going to see. It's going to need to process a little bit. Hopefully that isn't the case with each one of these things. You can see that's pretty far from what we want. It's not the worst or anything like that, but again, if we go back to the material here, you can see this is the object. It's a lot rougher than what we have for sure, and there's definitely no scratches. The only unfortunate thing here, yeah, wow, this is taking a long time to process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. I'm going to do a little bit of system management here and see if I can't pull myself back to a little bit better performance in here. So I'll be right back. Okay, I think I solved the problem. Now I can pretty quickly cycle through materials without too much processing. It depends on the complexity of the material. Now there's one thing that's going on here that I kind of want to do a combination of two substance materials here, because these metals have good properties that I like for the like the roughness and metallic and stuff, but I'm not getting the bump that I want, and the bump that I want is a super fine noise. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to throw a plastic base on here, which I think is a new material, and the nice thing about this material is it comes with like a very fine noise. So what you can do is down here in the plastic grain roughness, if you turn this down, it actually becomes kind of warpy. I don't like that. It's kind of cool. It would work very well. This could be like, you know, I don't know, seems like something that a water slide would be built out of, you know, very wet plastic. But in this case, what we want to do is we actually want to kick that all the way up. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to take the height range and we want to kick that all the way down. Okay, and that gives us a really nice, fine, rough value. It also gives us some deviation in the color here, and we'll see that a little bit more as we take this down. You see the greens and there's some reds in there. You know, it just gives us a little bit of like oil slick to the whole thing, and it's something I really quite like. So we're gonna probably, this might be a little bit blue. Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, it's very gray here, so we're gonna pull that out almost entirely. I feel like I want to put a little bit back in. There we go. Just so it's a colder steel or a colder metal. And that's actually about what I want. Now the roughness probably could be a little bit rougher. I think that'll help sell it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a fill layer on top of that, and I'm only going to select metallic, and I'm going to make the oops, I don't want ambient occlusion either. Metallic's going to go all the way up. Okay, so it's now metallic, but it's closer to what we wanted before. So I'm going to make a new layer here, and I'm just going to call this the frickin' metal. I don't even know what to call it. And I'm going to take these two and stick them in there. Are they going in? Will they not go in? Can you get in there? What even happened? I thought I did a folder. Go in there. Okay. Do I have to hold it there for a second or something? Anyways. Sorry about that. Sometimes it acts like a dick. Okay, so we're going to call this base color and bump. And this one's going to be metallic. Okay. So this basically now our metal material here. So now let's go ahead and do the rubber part. So let's just pop a new one on top, and we need to push it above here. I think I got a weight or something as I'm dragging this. I don't know, it's not doing anything when I try to drag. Is it lagging? I can't. Am I stuck holding control and shift or something on my keyboard? My keyboard's not stuck, is it? Oh, spacebar. Okay, let me fix this and I'll be right back. Okay, it turns out that that's happening to me as long as I'm recording. I don't know what the hell. As soon as I stop recording, I can do it no problem. I moved it instantaneously. But anyways, whatever. I'll have to pause every time. So we're going to hit this with a uniform rubber. I think what I'm going to do is, you see, I have a choice here because I'm not using the height channel, but I could if I want to, and smooth it out. I may or may not want to do that because once I go to the height channel here and I change it to normal, it'll smooth out automatically. So let's go ahead and keep that. So I'm going to add a black mask really quick, and I'm going to hit 4 So I go to my tool that's like selecting by polygons or UVs, and I'm going to go by UVs, and I'm going to pick white here, and I'm just going to draw a box right around that corner, and that should pick up a lot, but it's not going to get everything, so I'm going to need to do a little bit more. I have this broken up so that all of this is going to be... I kind of wish it didn't show the hidden edges. You know, the soft edges, the diagonals. I wish it didn't. I wish it only showed poly edges. But then again, the format might not allow for that. So I always have to hit 1 so I can get off that, so I can kind of see if I'm correct or not. Okay. That looks right. Should be the bottom too. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another folder here called rubber, and I don't believe I can drag this in there. I cannot, so I'll be right back. Alright, it's dragged in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this mask really quick. Where is that? Copy mask, and we're going to add a black mask, and then we're going to paste into mask, I believe. There we go. And now we can remove this mask. So basically our rubber's now a folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to add the plastic base. And the reason for that is because I only want to use the height. And what I want to do is I want to get rid of the roughness entirely, and I want to make this normal. So this will be my bump. So the plastic grain roughness goes away. Let's see. Okay. Oh, by the way, this needs to be normal. That because it's not passing through. There we go. Okay, now what I can do is on this rubber folder here, I can take the surface imperfections, and if I really want to, I can go really high with that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a filter, and the filter is going to be blur, and the blur intensity is going to be pretty low. Alright, now we're going to add a black mask. Okay, we'll get rid of it entirely, and we're going to add a, I'm trying to think, we'll add a generator, and the generator we're going to pick is this guy here. Okay, the dirt, and we'll get a grunge amount. Let's kick up the contrast quite a bit. Okay, let's kick the level down. And as you can see, what we get left behind is just like some pits here and there. Now it's very strong, so I don't like that. So we'll kick the contrast down just a little bit. Take the grunge amount down just a little bit as well. And then what we'll do is see if we hide this. The rubber, I don't believe here is using the, wait, that is using the height channel. So if I hide rubber entirely, I think I'm missing a layer. Where's my rubber? That's the folder. That's the layer. The metal. What happened to my black rubber? It like got deleted. I don't even know how that happened. Okay, that's back. We'll just disable the height map on that. It's disabled down here anyway. So effectively the same thing, but now what you can see is we just got a little bit of extra, a little bit of chunk in there, just something, and that's important. However, on here we don't really have that, and the reason is because it doesn't really do that. We're going to add a little bit of dirt to it though. So we can close down the rubber. Let's go here and we'll go to the base color, and this can actually, like I said, get some dirt on there. And that just kind of dirties it up a little bit here and there, just using a texture mask that they have. One of the things we may want to do if we're starting to get like an ugly seam anywhere, which I don't see happening too badly, but it is kind of happening right here, as you can see. We can try the triplanar projection, but it doesn't really help, you know. It does help with the way that the dirt gets projected, though. I believe it matches better than UV projection. Let's see. Let's kick the dirt up all crazy. I think if you do the dirt all crazy, it doesn't ever really. See how this line right here at the seam terminates? Let's check and see if triplanar solves that. Let's see if anything draws over the edge. Yeah, it draws right over the edge, see? Which is pretty handy. Pretty handy. I like the dirt where it is, but I don't like how much it's darkened everything. And unfortunately, I lose the cool parts of it when I kick it back. So what I'm actually going to do is duplicate that. I'm going to come here and I'm going to kill the dirt on this one. And this one, this second layer, is just going to be the dirt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off everything but the color. Actually, I'll keep the roughness. Okay. And now what we're going to do, hopefully, is base color. We're going to make this be, I'm kind of thinking overlay. No, soft light's not going to work. It's either going to be multiplier or overlay. And I'm thinking overlay. Okay. And then what we do is we filter with levels. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Let's kill that here really quick. I wanted to actually levels. I always think levels is a filter. And we are going to pull in the white like so. And we're going to see if we can't capture some of that contrasted magic around here. It's probably going to be pretty difficult. They're so close in tone. I almost want to just take it out into Photoshop and do it there. Because there's no like dirt contrast. And I really like these markings. Like I said, I don't like what it's doing to my color of my metal. What I could try... See, I really like how bright and clean that is. And this, I don't think that, yeah, levels is just not gonna do it. Oh, wait. I take it back, y'all. I was grabbing the wrong freaking thing. I'm stupid, I'm sorry. It's like opposite of Photoshop. There we go, there we go. Like that. Very subtle. That's what I like. And now what I can do is I can come to the base color and just turn it down a little bit. Okay, at this point I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this pretty good for what it is, and I'm going to leave it at that for now, because what I want to do is I want to move on and I want to kind of get the whole thing kind of globally splatted out. So our next piece is going to be this piece here, which is going to be material 2. But what we want to do is we want to use the metal that we've got here up here as well. So what I think we can do, and I'm not sure, can we copy? Yeah, copy layers. Okay, we'll come here and we'll get rid of that and we'll paste layers. And there we go. There's the metal there. Super brilliant. And now what we're going to need is we're going to need some like chromish steel. Okay? So let's go ahead and we'll add a new folder. and we'll call this chrome. Okay, just be funny. Chromish steel. And inside there, we're gonna add. I can't do that. Super strange, super strange. So let's go ahead and go back here to metal, and we can try, say, aluminum. Let's take a look real quick. It's smooth. It's perfectly smooth. It has no bump on it. So let's go to the height here, and let's make sure that these are all set to normal. Okay, that looks much better, and it's got a couple of chips in there. That's pretty friggin' close. I think it could be darker. There's a new one that they've added called Steel Bump that has just become my like go-to favorite. It just looks great. If you look, it's a really great material, and again, it can also be triplanar mapped. So it just, yeah, really nice, and I think that's what we're going to use. It's just too fantastic, and it's very nice. Okay, so the chromish steel needs a black mask, and we're going to hit 4, and we'll go by object because we want to get that guy in there. And let's see, we don't have an awful lot, we just have that and then these faces here, so we'll go by UV, and we just click there, and that should pretty much do it. It should go all the way around, and there's no other parts on this model that have that. Okay, so I do feel like it's not as standoutish as it is here. It really stands out as, I don't know, let's see, hang on, I got another, let's take a look real quick, because these are all pretty much the same. It's very reflective. It's very reflective. I think this is a tiny ass image. Yeah, it's a shit image. So what we want to do is now we can fiddle with it, and we can kick that roughness way down. There we go. Let's pull it up just a hair, because I don't ever like having zero roughness at all, even with the scuffs and stuff on there, because we also have dirt, which should affect the roughness. And I'm pretty sure I don't want any rust. Besides, rust is probably going to be a little bit difficult. Yeah, I don't want it rusty at all. Bumps. I'll leave the bumps. They didn't really get crashed on there too hard, and I can actually tile this one more too. I feel that gives me a little bit, well, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. The roughness and stuff in there is there, but I do think I want to go back to the roughness. And what am I at right now? 0.07. Let's go 0.1. There we go. A little bit of blur in there. Looks nicer. All right. So that's our chromish steel. And now what we'll do is we'll copy those layers, and let's go to material 3, and we'll dump that one, and then we'll paste layers. Now that's going to make everything chrome. We also want to remove the mask. There we go. Okay, let's add rubber on top of that. Uniform rubber, and let's mask that to just these pieces here. So we hit 4, and we just go by object. Boom and boom. Okay, and we hit 1 again, and that looks pretty good. And let's see, what was the end piece? I think now it's still steel, but it does feel like a different steel. Okay, so we got that shiny rubber, and then we got the plastic. Okay, so the tip of this guy wants to be shiny rubber. So we need this is going to be rubber dull, and we just hit Control D, I believe, and then we call that rubber shiny. And let's go ahead and clear the mask, and then we'll hit 4. We'll go by UVs this time, and we'll go like this, and we want to hit right there, and I kind of think that I want to do that just for shits. I mean, I know it probably isn't like that, but whatever, I don't care. I ain't scared. Okay, so that's a dull rubber. We're gonna go ahead and put that roughness way down so it becomes more shiny. And now we have a black plastic, so we're gonna go plastic, and we're gonna do, oh shit, I did not mean to do that. I changed this guy over here. Let's undo that. I need to add a new layer before I do that. There we go. And this one, let's go ahead and mask it immediately. So black mask, hit 4, we'll go by the entire object, and we'll just pick, oops, go white, and then we pick. Okay, there we go. Now we can, so we'll call this black plastic. And this is going to have, I'll go ahead and noise it up just a little bit. And I want it to be solid black. Kind of lost myself there. Alright, and let's give it a little bit of dirt. Like so. Not so many surface imperfections. And the roughness, I think, feels pretty good there. And so does the scuffage. That feels alright. Alright, so that's good there. Our screw is totally chrome, and I think that's okay. We may or may not want to do that. We may want to do a rougher metal there, but we could just paint a roughness over that. Okay, actually, we're going to do that. So that's our chromish steels, our rubber, plastics. I'll go ahead and leave those out of a group. And let's give ourselves a... We've got this chromish steel. I'm going to duplicate this guy, and I'm going to give it a black mask. And then what I want to do is I want to make it super rough, and then hit 4 here, and we'll go by UV, and I'll just drag right there, and I'll drag right there. And now I want to go by object, and I'll just click right on that screw. It's way more rough than I'm going to have it, by the way. It's just I want to be able to clearly determine that I am a different metal here. Alright, and now we can go back and we can just play with that roughness a little bit, just so it stands apart, something like that. And maybe we'll give it a few more scratches and a little bit less dirt. The reason for less dirt is this would be where the user would grab more often, so he'd be constantly kind of cleaning it. That's my theory, believe it or not. I don't like this. I don't like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that out of there. I'm gonna keep that. Oh, you know what though? You know what I'm gonna do though? I'm gonna go by UV, and I'm gonna get the centers here. Just make sure I got it all. So that's a little bit rougher inside there, and I think that's gonna look a little bit better. Okay, I can still chip it away if I want to, but like I said, I'm not going crazy damage. I'm going mild amounts of dirt, mostly just using the materials as they stand, but I am going to actually add some dirt to the whole thing. But overall, right now, let's take a gander. Let's see, I think we're actually done. I'm going to try one thing really quick. Now that's on material 2, chromish steel. Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that being shiny inside there. It makes it feel like it's the piece of the screw or something. Okay, so that's pretty good. I got a seam happening right here that's getting a little ornery about about stuff. Let's see if any of these materials have anything to do with that. Yeah, I believe it's this material here. I don't want to say it's the metallic, because metallic is just a base color. That's triplanar, and so is that. It really is the metallic. So it's just a way that this program is interpolating that. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to assume that it's not there, because if I take the metallic out, everything still looks good, and I think it's going to be okay, because I'm going to get a tangent space normal map that should in fact only give me these details. Shouldn't be worrying about the world space direction of any of this shit. Even though this gave me a world space normal map here, I haven't used it for anything yet. So now what we want to do, that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. In fact, I would actually not be too displeased to just shoot this sucker out right now and call it done. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do a little bit of management by meaning that I'm just going to save everything. Alright, so now I want to do the grip that's on here, and I've already gone ahead and brought in this diamond grip texture. This is just pretty simple. It's just a simple height map here, and what I've done is I've added a new layer here just by going like that. Let's get rid of that. There's nothing on this layer yet, and I hit 3 for the projection brush, and all I do is just drag this into height. And I've turned everything else off. It does come in like this when you first start, so I just turned everything off like so. I only want to mess with the height. Now the thing is there's going to be no real way for me to get in here to get this nice and straight, because if I do like this, you can see even if I hide the other materials, I still have the back of the one like in the way. So what I actually need to do here is basically do this onto the UVs themselves. So if I hit F3, I go to the UV view only, and now I can hit the 3 tool. If I hold S and right click, I can make it smaller, and let's go for about 3 rows. So I'm looking here, and maybe 4 rows will feel pretty good. Ah, shit, I rotated it on accident. I think I can hold shift, yeah. If you hold shift, you constrain that. So I just want to line this up as nice as I can. Let's get our brush with a 100% hardness value here. And now, if I'm slightly careful, it is trying to tile over other stuff. But I believe that is because I'm aligning by tangent. So let's align by UV, and it shouldn't do that. But now you can see that it wants to bleed up into the other areas. So let's try camera. Camera's pretty much just as bad. So we'll go with UV, because it'll constrain the problems that we're creating to the area that we're painting right here. So it's just going to be just around this box. It won't be some other weird place that got picked up. Okay, so now I'll hold Alt and I middle mouse to move this up. And let's try to line up one corner about there. Feels alright. And we'll just go around that guy. Okay, now let's hit 2 for the eraser tool, and then once again let's kick up the hardness. And again we want to go by UV, and this time we're going to click, hold shift and click again. This is a new feature to draw straight lines. Holy shit, hang on. That looked a lot bigger than it should have been. I'm just going to do this manually. I think the brush was, I think it's larger than it looks. It seems like it's painting, oops, I wanted to hold Alt there. I held space because I was in Photoshop mode for some dumb reason. Okay, I am screwing up. Okay, I screwed up over here too. Okay, what is the spacing on this thing? It must be really high, so we're going to turn that spacing down. And we're going to shrink it down, because I really wish that the outline here was accurate, but it's not. It's painting outside of it. Quite a ways outside of it too, actually. And that should do it. Now what we'll do here is hold Control and drag right click, and we'll just say delete. What the Yeah, what I'm seeing here is representing like the center of the gradient. Not, I think I want to make it a little bit smaller than that. So let's go boom, 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 and boom, like so. And I may or may not want to scuff it away from the edge, but I'm going to do that in a mask. Okay, so let's hit F2. That goes back here. And you can see now we got the grip on there, and it looks pretty good. Looks alright. Nothing wrong with it. And but like I said, I may or may not want to like chip it away from the top, but now that I think about it, I kind of don't want to do that. Okay, so we'll call that grip bump, and let's make that normal so it doesn't overlay with anything. Actually, I don't know. I kind of, so I get these kind of separated here, and if I go normal, yeah, no, I like it better like that. Alright, we'll keep it at linear dodge. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to hit the 1 tool really quick, and I just want to, wait, hang on, just with the height channel still, just want to mark that really quick and then hit F3 so that I can see. Okay, so this does look like the piece that I want, so let's just do that. Yeah, sweet. So we should be able to get a pretty good screw texture on here quite easily, I think. But we're going to need to make it in Photoshop. Now the question is, do I show that or do I not show that? I'm not sure, because I'm not sure. I know what needs to be done, but maybe I'll show it. Okay, so I decided not to show it because it took a long time, plus I got interrupted like crazy. So I cut that part out, and basically I just added it as a bump map. It's just a black lines and white lines bump map, and what happened here, and roughness, and I just added it here. So here is the color. The color is actually set to be overlay very low, so it just slightly darkens it in there where the black lines are. And then the roughness version is using the same texture that you can see here. I know it doesn't show, it goes below the screen, but it's just a white and black version of the stripes, and that's it. And there's a little bit of a seam in there, but whatever. I'm cool with it. That's all that matters. Okay, so now I wonder if we should do some grease stains or some dirt over the whole thing. We could do some dirt. Let's do some dirt. Alright, so we're going to add a fill layer here, and my favorite dirt... Did that actually do anything? Yeah, okay. My favorite dirt is mortar wall. Okay, and it's only going to be on one piece, but we'll be able to duplicate this across the whole thing. Should anyway. I'm not entirely sure. We may have to replace the textures that are being used to generate it. So what we're going to do is add a black mask, and then we are going to add a generator, and we're going to add this MG dirt. Okay, as you can see here, I dirties things up quite significantly. Okay, so this is kind of like a way too much dirt for my taste, so we're going to tone this back quite a bit by pulling the level down some, and that's just enough in there, like so. And that's probably a little bit too much is already still, so I'm going to lower that grunge amount to just a speck. I only want very, there we go, something like that. That's more like what I want. Just speckles of dirt, very light. Like I said, I don't want this looking post-apocalyptic. I just want there to be something on there. Edges masking. And it's really up in there, isn't there? It's a lot. That could work in our favor, but anyways, let's go ahead and copy this layer. And we'll go to material number 2. And we'll paste the layer. Please don't put it in there, thank you. Okay. There we go, there's some dirt on there. Now, I actually don't want the height. I forgot to turn that off. But on the other one, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off on this one too. So we're not affecting anything by the height. Okay. So now, oh, I also want to tile the dirt a lot more so it looks finer. There we go. Okay, now we come here. There's no dirt noise opacity on this guy. Okay, so it's getting some grunge and dirt in the corners. It's nicely going around this stuff for us. Let me turn down that contrast just a little bit. I'll spread it out just a little bit more. And that doesn't look too shabby, so let's go ahead and leave it at that, I think. Copy that. Copy layer, and we'll throw that on layer 1. Paste layer. And there's dirt there in the cracks. And it looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, you know, I'm moving the camera around a lot. I should remember that I'm using Camtasia so that I can pause the recording so I have a much better experience. And I can pace it easier. So there's much less dead air, you know, than when I do it with Shadowplay. Because when I do it with Shadowplay, I can't control anything. Yeah, look at that. That looks nice. I haven't touched the paintbrush. So anybody can do this. Absolutely. This is all just settings. Just picking the right stuff and doing the settings. I think it looks really good. I got a bit of a cork issue right here. Let's see if we can't figure out what it's from. Grip bump. Okay. We're going to erase. Hopefully that doesn't erase anything up here. Okay, there's a piece that I missed. I could do a little bit of grease. Grease could be kind of handy, but I don't really think it needs it too much. Not sure. Alright, so one of the things I want to do is clean up some of the dirt areas that I don't want, like for instance right in here. I don't actually want dirt to be in this little butt crack. So what I'm going to do, because we don't have the tool that they're supposed to come out soon, it's like supposed to be like a paint layer that you can add you can blend in with everything else, but I think that's like going to be in a quick update that they're going to do. It's not out yet, so what I've always done in the past is just make a folder. Hey, look, let me drop it in and go ahead and mask the folder. So we add a white mask in this case. If I hit 1 here and I go to my brushes, I should be able to find like a dirt right here, and painting out black. Let's make that a little bit smaller and see, I can paint that dirt right out. I'll leave a couple of splotches here and there, but I definitely want it, for the most part, gone from that crack right there. Something like that. Maintain some of that nice metal that we got going on in there. Alright, everything else is just fine. I think I honestly feel like I'm good. The only thing I need left to do is actually some logo work, which is just all going to be in like the bump map. I can just project it. So I need the Pano Vice logo. That's going to go on a thingy right here, like a little panel that I put in the front. And other than that, I think she's looking pretty good. I don't think it looks too bad at all. It all fits together nice. Yeah, man. Such a great program. I didn't have to do anything. It just kind of did it for me. That's always so nice of them when they do that. I don't really want to mess with this too much. Mess with a little bit of a depth of field here. Get a nice rendering of stuff, some of the details. Pretty cool, fun to mess around with this stuff. Anyways, I tend to turn this off too. We can check it out in some other lighting. Maybe we should put that back on so we can see. So we can get a feel for how it feels. I always like to do this. Yeah. You gotta hold shift and right click now to turn the environment. That looks pretty good. It's a super nice renderer. Let's go with like a jungle. Should get some greens in there. There we go. Yeah, I could buy that this would be looking somewhat like that out here in this forest. Cave entry. Let's do some studio lighting. Oops, I keep left clicking, so I always forget. I mean, this is like, you know, this render quality right there. I could turn on shadows, but I feel like they look kind of shitsy. They're kind of blocky. I mean, they fill in better later. Alright, let's try another one. Let's do this warm environment. Oh yeah, this guy's frickin' porn palace. Alright, so yeah, I mean, doesn't feel too bad in that environment. How do you feel in the ghetto? Yeah. This is where I come to deal with my vices. Get it? Everybody's got a vice. I just happen to actually mine just happens to actually be one. That's why I'm here. They say if you have a vice, you come to this shithole ghetto house where it says everybody's kung fu fighting. Who wrote that? I have a feeling that the cameraman, whoever took this photo, is the same person who vandalized the shit out of this place. Because that's everybody was kung fu fighting. In reality, it'd be, you know, like, you know, we own this part of the streets and you're gonna leave us alone, please, would be the general message. Yeah, I like it. Pretty alright. I think that the dirt up here is a little heavy in these holes, like actually a lot heavy. So let's just fix that and then I'm calling it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a group, throw it in the group, give the group the black mask, hit 1, oops, give the group the white mask, hit 1, and just go ahead and paint that out. It's too much. Alright guys, that should do it for this video. Hopefully you guys found that interesting and fun. I'm probably going to do some more of these. I really do enjoy using this program a hell of a lot. Once you get in here, it's just really quick. I mean, you can see it took me, roughly 50 minutes, but a lot of that was, slightly explaining and whatnot. But anyways, this is Hip Hoss signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.